The IET has recently announced the winners of its third global challenge, which asked young engineers to find a way to help clean up the increasing amount of plastic waste in our oceans.
The theme for this year's Global Challenge actually came from us asking a group of young professionals what they were passionate about and what the theme should be this year. And the resounding response was plastic in the ocean. It's such a big problem that affects all of us. Wherever you are in the world, it affects you.
One of the winners was Team Baywatchers, who came up with this conceptual model called Krabi, which is designed to collect cigarette ends from beaches.
Cigarette butts are actually one of the biggest plastic polluters. There's trillions of cigarette butts that end up in the oceans and release toxins that pollute our oceans. So the challenge was all about how we can come up with a way of getting those cigarette butts out of the sand before they end up in the ocean.
Two members of the winning team are Helena Livesey and Jonathan Whitty.
We just had a look at the challenge and it seemed like a really interesting thing to get involved in, and it could have a really positive impact on the marine ecosystem. Sort of had the idea of what we could use claws on a robotic arm to pick up cigarette butts, and then thought, well, why don't we make it look like a crab? She drives off autonomously on a path that is predetermined, got a forward-facing camera that's looking for obstacles to navigate around if there's anything like people, towels, umbrellas. And there is also a sand-facing camera in one of the eyes that's looking for cigarette butts to pick up. When one's detected, one of the arms will come down, pick it up. It'll go inside onto this belt, which passes underneath a vacuum calibrated to pick up cigarette butts.
The judges were so impressed by Team Baywatchers' entry. Part of the brief for them was to make the robot eye-catching and something that people would spot, going along the beach and go and wonder what that was. And with the design of Krabi, it's bright, it's inviting, it's engaging.
A lot of the things that currently do a similar job are big sifters. They sort of rip up the top layer of sand, they run it through a series of rakes and they pull out any large plastics. Not only doesn't that not work very well in cigarette butts, but it's also really disruptive. We'd attach logos and things, there'd be a QR code on the top of it so that you could scan it with your phone, and there'd be an associated app so you could see through its eyes and sort of play games with Krabi and track how well it was doing. So a really big part of this is really engaging the community, getting children interested, getting their parents interested with the work it's doing.
Working with young engineers, they come out of university, they get the technical knowledge, but I think sometimes the practical knowledge is what they're really maybe missing in some areas. And I think what we're trying to do as the Institution of Engineering and Technology is give them those opportunities to maybe develop those skills that will better equip them in the workplace.
And what about young women engineers? How can we boost their numbers?
So I think it's just showing off all the cool things that female engineers are doing, and hopefully that will make girls realise that it's something they can go into when they're older.
The young professionals I speak to, they want to be successful in their careers and learn all about engineering and take that into their day jobs, but I get a real sense that they want to go over and above that, make the world a better place.